The shuttle doors opened with a soft hiss, and Park stepped onto the metal floor of Harmony Prime Station. He took a deep breath and smiled. The air tasted clean but strange, like it had been filtered too many times. Behind him, pulled her bag over her shoulder and looked around with wide eyes. "We're really here," she whispered. Nodded. 2 years of tests and interviews, and now we're the first humans at Galactic Unity Academy. The station was massive. Tall ceilings stretched up so high that clouds actually formed near the top. Strange plants grew along the walls and lights floated in the air without any wires holding them. Aliens of all shapes walked past them. Some had too many legs. Some had no legs at all and floated. One creature looked like a walking crystal, and another was covered in soft blue fur. A small robot rolled up to them and spoke in a cheerful voice. "Welcome, Earth students. Please follow me to orientation." They walked through the station and noticed something strange. Every alien they passed stopped to stare at them. Some whispered to each other. A few actually stepped backward, pressing themselves against the walls. "Why are they looking at us like that?" asked quietly. Shrugged. Maybe they've never seen humans before. The robot led them to a large hall filled with seats. Hundreds of alien students sat in groups, chatting and laughing. But when an entered, the room went silent. Every eye, sensor, and optical organ turned toward them. A tall alien with 6 limbs and wet, shiny skin walked to the front of the room. "I am Professor, your academic advisor. Please, human students, take your seats," and found 2 empty chairs near the middle. The students around them immediately moved away, leaving a circle of empty seats. Professor began his speech about rules, classes, and schedules. Tried to pay attention, but he kept noticing the nervous looks from the other students. A creature made of pink crystal sat 3 rows ahead, and it kept turning around to peek at them. Its body made soft, chiming sounds whenever it moved. After orientation, the crystal creature approached them slowly. It moved like it was walking on thin ice. "Hello," it said. Its voice sounded like wind chimes. I am assigned as your dormitory neighbor." Smiled warmly. "Nice to meet you, and this is." Its crystal body flickered with pale blue light. Guessed this meant she was nervous. "I must ask, is it true that you come from a Class 3? Tilted her head. "You mean Earth?" "Yes, the planet with the extreme gravity, toxic atmosphere, and uncontrolled water falling from the sky." Laughed softly. "You mean rain? That's just water, it's not dangerous." Made a sharp chiming sound that might have been a gasp. "Water falls from your sky, and you say it is not dangerous. Water is highly corrosive to my species. Even small amounts can cause permanent damage." "Oh," smile faded a little. "I'm sorry, I didn't know, but for humans rain is normal, kids play in it. I actually walked through some light rain this morning to get to my shuttle." Stared at him, her crystal body flickered rapidly between blue and white. "You walked through falling acid water this morning, and you are unharmed." "It was just a light drizzle," said. "Maybe 5 minutes." Took several steps backward. "I must go. I need to review the species protocol again. Goodbye." She hurried away, her crystal feet clicking against the floor, and looked at each other. "Did I say something wrong?" asked. A large alien covered in brown fur approached them. He stood nearly 3 meters tall but had the gentle eyes of a deer. "Do not worry about, she is easily frightened. I am." "Nice to meet you," shook his massive furry hand. "Are you scared of us too?" His ears flattened against his head. "I admit, I was warned about humans. They told us your planet has active volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes, and predators with sharp teeth. They said humans evolved by being chased by monsters." Scratched his head. "Well, that's not totally wrong, but Earth isn't that bad. It's actually quite beautiful." "Beautiful?" Eyes went wide. "Your planet has something called winter, where water becomes solid and falls from the sky. Entire regions become frozen death zones for months." "Snow is fun," said. We build things with it, snowmen, snow forts. His mouth fell open. He had no words. That evening and walked to their dormitory. The hallway was empty except for a few cleaning robots. When they reached his room, they found a small note stuck to his door. It read, "To the human student, I have placed a warning sign on my door. Please do not enter my room. I do not mean offense. I am simply not prepared to share space with a creature who bathes in acid and survives. Respectfully." Sighed and looked at. I think making friends here might be harder than we expected. But when he looked at the stars through his window that night, he felt hopeful. They were scared of him now, but fear could become curiosity, and curiosity could become friendship. He just needed time. Somewhere in the dormitory, opened a new file on her data pad. She titled it Observations of the, and began to write. Day 1, the humans arrived. They walked through acid rain and smiled. I do not understand them yet, but I will try. The cafeteria of Galactic Unity Academy was the largest room had ever seen. It stretched for nearly half a kilometer, with different sections designed for different species. Some areas had low gravity. Others were filled with water. One corner was completely dark because the species there could only eat in total blackness. And found the section marked Oxygen Breather Solid Food, and sat down at an empty table. Within seconds, every alien in the nearby area had moved at least 10 meters away. This is getting old, muttered. She opened her bag and pulled out a container. At least I brought food from home. The smell hit the cafeteria like a wave. Had packed kimchi, white rice, and strips of grilled beef. To her, it smelled like home, like her grandmother's kitchen, like comfort. To the aliens, it smelled like something else entirely. A student named, who had large antennae and an insect-like body, suddenly stood up from his table. Biohazard alert. Something is decomposing. Everyone evacuate. 3 students actually ran for the exits. A floating jellyfish creature turned bright red and began producing warning sounds. 2 security robots rolled towards table with their scanners active. Wait, stood up and waved his hands. It's not a biohazard, it's food, human food. The robots scanned the container. After a moment, one of them spoke. Analysis complete. Contents include fermented vegetables, cooked grain, and heated animal muscle tissue. No immediate threat detected. However, the fermentation process indicates controlled bacterial decomposition. Santini twitched. Controlled bacterial decomposition. You mean rotting, you eat rotting plants. His face turned red. Fermentation is different from rotting. It's a cooking method. It makes food taste better and last longer. But it is still decomposition, insisted. You let bacteria eat your food first, and then you eat what remains. Rubbed the back of his neck. When you say it like that, it sounds weird, but yes, humans have been doing it for thousands of years. We ferment vegetables, milk, grain, fruit. We make things like cheese, bread, wine, and kimchi. The entire cafeteria was now staring at them. Had crept closer, her crystal body flickering with what now recognized as intense curiosity. And the brown strips, asked nervously from several tables away, "What are those?" Beef said, "Meat from a cow, we cooked it with fire." Silence fell over the room. His voice was barely a whisper. You killed an animal, burned its body, and now you are eating its muscles. Humans are omnivores, explained. We eat plants and animals. Our bodies need protein from many sources. But you have teeth, said, her chiming voice trembled. I read about human teeth. You have different types for different purposes, sharp ones for tearing, flat ones for grinding. Opened his mouth and pointed at his teeth. These are canines. These are molars. Humans use them to chew food into small pieces before swallowing. Made a sound like a broken engine and collapsed sideways. 2 smaller aliens rushed to help him. Is he okay? Asked concerned. Checked on and then looked back at the humans. He fainted. He just learned that humans have internal bone structures and use them for chewing. This is very disturbing information for us. Just then, the cafeteria doors burst open. A young human woman walked in, dragging a damaged travel bag behind her. Her hair was messy, and her jacket had a long tear down one sleeve. But she was grinning like she had just won a prize. "Finally," she announced. "I made it. Sorry I'm late. My shuttle got attacked by pirates." And jumped up. "Pirates, are you okay?" The woman laughed and dropped her bag on their table. "I'm fine. I'm, by the way, third human student. Nice to meet you." "What happened with the pirates?" asked. Grabbed a piece of beef and popped it in her mouth. "Oh, they tried to board us near the outer belt. 5 of them got into the passenger section. I handled it." "You handled it," repeated. "How?" "I broke one guy's arm, knocked out 2 others, and the last 2 ran away. The captain said I saved the ship." She shrugged like it was nothing. "Anyway, is there more food? I'm starving." The cafeteria had gone completely silent again. Every alien was frozen in place. Slowly raised one of his many limbs. "You fought 5 armed pirates with your bare hands." "They weren't that tough," said. "Honestly, the hardest part was staying calm. Adrenaline makes you do crazy things." His crystal body was now flashing so fast it looked like a strobe light. She pulled out her data pad and began typing furiously. Later that day, Academy security called the 3 humans to the administration office. A stern-looking official with 4 eyes and gray scales sat behind a desk. "We have reviewed the incident reports and cafeteria footage," the official said. "We must now officially classify human bodies as Category 2 biological weapons. Please register your hands as dangerous instruments." Stared. "You want us to register our hands?" "Your species has internal bones, muscle density beyond standard parameters, and the ability to produce adrenaline-enhanced strength. For the safety of other students, we must take precautions." Laughed out loud, covered her face with her hands, just sighed. In her room that night, added a new entry to her journal. Day 3, a 3rd human arrived. She defeated 5 pirates using only her skeleton-supported limbs. The humans also eat rotting vegetables and burned animal flesh. I am beginning to question everything I thought I knew about the universe. And yet, when the human called smiles at me, I do not feel afraid. I feel something else. I do not have a word for it yet. Cultural Exchange Day was the biggest event of the Academy year. Every species set up booths to share their traditions, food, music, and games. The main hall was decorated with floating lights and banners from 47 different worlds, and had been given a small booth in the corner. The Academy staff had placed them far from the main traffic areas, probably hopping to minimize panic. But by midday, their booth had the longest line in the entire hall. "I don't understand," said, looking at the crowd. "Yesterday they were afraid of us. Today they want to see everything we do." Smiled. "Fear and curiosity are close cousins. People always want to look at things that scare them." Their booth was simple. They had set up a small cooking station, a display of Korean items, and a mat for demonstrations. A sign above them read Earth Korea in 12 different languages. Stood at the front and bowed to the gathered aliens. "Welcome to our booth. Today we will share some traditions from Korea, a country on planet Earth. Please don't be afraid. Everything we show you is safe." The first demonstration was Taekwondo. Had practiced the martial art since he was 6 years old. He wore his white uniform and black belt with pride. "This is a traditional Korean martial art," he explained. "It teaches discipline, respect, and self-defense." He moved through a series of basic forms, his arms and legs cutting through the air with precision. The aliens watched with wide eyes. When he finished, polite chiming and clicking sounds filled the air, which he assumed was applause. Then brought out a wooden board and held it steady. "In Taekwondo, students test their power by breaking objects," said. "Watch carefully." He took a deep breath, focused his energy, and kicked straight through the board. It split in half with a sharp crack. The crowd went silent, then chaos erupted. He broke solid material with his limb. The bone-supported appendage shattered wood. Security, is this allowed? Held up his hands. It's okay, this is normal training. Many human children learn to do this. Children? Voice came from the back of the crowd. He had pushed his way forward despite his fear. Human children break solid objects for practice. It builds strength and focus, said, and confidence. Was near the front, her data pad out, recording everything. Her crystal body glowed with soft purple light, which had learned meant she was deeply fascinated. Next stepped forward for her demonstration. I will teach you a simple Korean folk song, she said. Music is very important in our culture. She began to sing. Her voice was clear and sweet, a melody about mountains and rivers and home. The song was gentle and beautiful. But the aliens reacted strangely. Some covered their hearing organs. Others leaned closer with confused expressions. When she finished, raised his antenna. You produce sounds by vibrating internal membranes, and you do this for entertainment. We call it singing, said. Humans use our vocal cords to make music. It expresses emotions that words alone cannot capture. It is very strange, admitted, but also very beautiful. Can you teach me? Spent the next hour teaching aliens to hum. Most of them couldn't do it, but they tried anyway, making odd buzzing and clicking sounds. Everyone laughed together. After the music lesson, opened the food station. She had prepared Korean rice cakes in several colors. Some were white, some pink, some filled with sweet red bean paste. These are made from rice, she explained. Rice is a grain we grow on Earth. We pound it into paste and shape it into cakes. She held out a tray. The aliens stared at it like it might explode. I will try it, announced. Everyone gasped, walked forward slowly, her crystal body trembling slightly. She picked up a small piece of pink and examined it. My species can process simple organic compounds, she said, more to herself than anyone else. This should be safe. She placed the rice cake against what might have been her mouth. There was a soft, dissolving sound. Then her entire body lit up with golden light. It is sweet, she said. It is very sweet. I have never tasted anything like this. The crowd pushed forward. Suddenly, everyone wanted to try human food. Had to make 3 more batches to keep up with demand. The final activity was a game called Set Up the Board and Explain the Rules. Players threw special sticks and moved their pieces around the board. The first player to get all their pieces home won. But what is the purpose? Asked a tall alien with silver skin. What do you gain if you win? Nothing, said. You just win, it's fun. You compete against each other for no reward, only for the experience of competing. Yes, humans call it playing. The aliens looked at each other with confusion, but one by one, they sat down to try. Soon there were 5 games running at once, with aliens cheering and groaning as their pieces moved around the boards. Near the end of the day, an elderly approached. His crystal body was darker than with deep blue veins running through it. Young human, he said, I have one question. When you are happy, why do you show your teeth? In most species, baring teeth is a sign of aggression, a threat. Thought for a moment. For humans, a smile is the opposite of a threat. It means we are happy to see you. It means we feel safe. It means we want to be friends. The elder considered this. So when a human shows the bones inside their mouth, they are saying, I trust you enough to show you my weapons, because I know I will not need them. Had never thought of it that way. Yes, she said, I think that's exactly what it means. That night wrote the longest entry in her journal yet. Day 7, I ate human food. I watched humans break wood with their bodies. I heard their throat membrane music. I learned their competition games. Today I was not afraid. Today I understood something important. The humans do not share their culture to show power. They share it to make connections. Every song, every game, every strange food is an invitation. They are saying, "This is who we are. Will you accept us?" I think my answer is yes. The alarm woke at 3 in the morning. Red lights flashed in his room, and a loud voice repeated the same message over and over. Emergency in Eastern Dormitory Wing. Containment failure. Toxic gas leak. All students evacuate immediately. Jumped out of bed and ran into the hallway. Students were rushing toward the exits, their faces filled with fear. He spotted incoming from their rooms. "What's happening?" asked. A security robot rolled past them. "Chemical Storage Unit 7 has failed. Sulfur compound gas is filling the eastern wing, lethal to 93% of registered species. Please evacuate to safe zones." They followed the crowd to the main assembly area. Hundreds of students huddled together, some crying, some praying in languages didn't understand. Academy staff ran back and forth, counting heads and checking lists. Then heard a terrible sound. It was like glass breaking and wind chimes falling. He knew that sound. "Where's he?" asked. Was nearby, his large body shaking with fear. "She was in the eastern wing. Her room is on the 4th floor. The gas reached that level first." Felt his stomach drop. "Is she still in there?" "The doors are sealed," said. "Standard protocol. They will pump out the gas and open the doors in 3 days." 3 days, stepped forward. "She'll die in 3 days. A gray-scaled official approached them. "We are aware that 3 students are trapped in the affected zone. Unfortunately, rescue is impossible. The gas concentration is lethal. Any rescue team would die before reaching them." Looked at and something unspoken passed between them. "What kind of gas is it exactly?" asked. The official checked his data pad. "Primarily sulfur dioxide with traces of hydrogen sulfide, fatal to most carbon-based life forms within minutes of exposure." Pulled out her own data pad and searched quickly. Sulfur dioxide, toxic to humans but not immediately lethal, causes respiratory irritation. Long-term exposure is dangerous, but short-term exposure is survivable with proper protection. "We can do it," said. "We can get them out." The official stared at them. "That is impossible. The gas would kill you." "No," said firmly. "It would hurt us. It would make us cough and burn our eyes, but it won't kill us in the time we need. Give us oxygen masks and let us try." Whispers spread through the crowd. The aliens watched the 3 humans like they had announced plans to walk into a star. After a tense argument with Academy leadership, the humans got their permission. They were given basic oxygen masks, nothing fancy, just simple devices that covered their nose and mouth. "You have 20 minutes, Professor said, his voice heavy with worry. "After that, even human biology will fail. Please be careful." The sealed doors opened just enough for them to slip through, then closed behind them. The air immediately turned yellow-green. Even through the mask could smell the sulfur. His eyes began to water. "Stay together," he said. "4th floor, let's move." They ran up the stairs, their lungs burning with each breath. The hallways were filled with thick fog. Emergency lights flickered weakly. They passed rooms full of knocked-over furniture and abandoned belongings. On the 4th floor, they found the first trapped student. It was a small, curled in a ball in the corner of its room. Checked its body. "Still breathing," she said, "but barely. Can you carry it?" Lifted the like it weighed nothing. "Got it. Where's?" They found her in the next hallway. Her crystal body had gone dark, no lights, no flickers. She was lying on the floor outside her room, like she had tried to escape but collapsed before reaching the stairs. Knelt beside her. "Can you hear me?" A tiny spark of light appeared in her chest. Her voice was barely a whisper, like a single wind chime in a storm. "You came, but the gas is lethal." "Not to us," he said. "I'm going to pick you up now. Is that okay?" "My body is fragile. If I vibrate too much from fear, I could crack." placed his hands under her carefully. "Then don't be afraid, I've got you." He lifted her, and she was lighter than he expected, like holding a sculpture made of frozen light. She pressed against his chest and made a soft humming sound. Third student called from down the hall, "Got them, let's go." They ran back toward the stairs. Eyes were streaming tears now. Every breath felt like swallowing fire. But he kept moving, holding close, protecting her from the toxic air with his own body. The sealed door was ahead, reached it first and pushed. It didn't open. "It's stuck," she said. "The emergency lock must have reset." She took a deep breath, stepped back, and threw her full weight against the door. The metal groaned but held. She hit it again, and again. On the fourth impact, something inside activated. Adrenaline flooded her system. Her muscles tensed beyond normal limits. She grabbed the edge of the door and pulled with everything she had. The metal bent, then it tore. The door ripped open like paper. On the other side, 100 aliens stood watching in complete shock. Medical teams rushed forward to take the rescued students. Collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. Leaned against a wall, coughing. Carried to a medical station and gently set her down. Her crystal body was starting to glow again, soft pink and blue lights returning. "You saved me," she said. "You walked through poison to save me." "We're friends," said simply. "That's what friends do." Medical staff examined the three humans. Minor burns in their throats, irritated eyes, elevated heart rates, nothing permanent. "How is this possible?" a doctor asked, checking hands after she ripped open metal. "Your species should not be able to do these things." Smiled despite the pain in his chest. "We're human. We're built for survival." Later, Academy officials held an emergency meeting. They created a new classification, Emergency Response Viable Human. From now on, humans would be considered first responders for any dangerous situation. That night Visited's room. She stood in his doorway, her crystal body glowing warm gold. "I wanted to thank you properly," she said. "You risked your life for mine." Shrugged. "I was scared the whole time." "But you did it anyway." "Yeah," he admitted. "That's kind of the human way." Reached out and touched his hand. It was the first time they had made physical contact. Her crystal fingers were cool and smooth, like polished glass. "In my culture, touching someone means you trust them completely," she said. "I trust you more than I have ever trusted anyone." Gently held her hand. "I trust you too." In her journal that night, wrote only one sentence. "Today I learned that do not run from danger. They run toward it to protect the ones they love." News of the rescue spread across the galaxy within days. The story of three humans walking through toxic gas to save alien students became famous on 1,000 worlds. News channels played the security footage over and over, ripping open a metal door, carrying through yellow fog, checking unconscious students with steady hands. For the first time in galactic history, humans were not seen as scary monsters. They were seen as heroes. His journal was published as an official academic paper. She titled it Coexistence with Persistence Predators, a personal account. Scholars from dozens of species read it. They learned about human food, human games, human music. They learned that humans smiled to show friendship, not aggression. They learned that humans felt fear just like everyone else but chose to act anyway. The paper ended with a line that became famous across the stars. "Perhaps the most remarkable thing about humans is not their strength or their endurance. It is their hearts. They have room in their hearts for everyone." 3 months after the rescue, and decided to host a special event. They called it Korean Night. They transformed one of the Academy common rooms into a small piece of home. They hung paper lanterns from the ceiling. They set up cushions on the floor in the traditional style. They prepared food for 3 days, more kinds than any alien had ever seen. Dozens of students came. Was there, no longer afraid to sit near the humans. Came with 5 other students, all curious about human throat music. Even the gray-scaled official who had once called their bodies weapons showed up at the door. And of course was there, sitting right next to, her crystal body glowing with happy colors. "Tonight," announced to the crowd, "we want to share something deeper than food or games. We want to share ideas, Korean concepts that don't translate easily but mean everything to us." She wrote 3 words on a floating display board. The first word was, "is a kind of love," explained. "But it's different from romantic love or family love. Is the bond that grows between people who share experiences together. It doesn't matter if you're related or not. If you spend time together, help each other, laugh and cry together, will grow. It's the feeling that connects strangers into family." The aliens listened carefully. Ears perked up. "This is what I feel for," he said softly. "We are not the same species, but she is my family now." Smiled at him with tears in her eyes. The second word was, "is hard to explain," said. "It means reading the room, understanding what others feel without them telling you, paying attention to small signs, body language, silence. Helps you know when someone needs help even if they don't ask." Light flickered. "When you came to rescue me, no one asked you to, you just knew I needed you, that was." Nodded, "that was." The third word was Han. Took over for this one, her voice was quieter than usual. Han is the hardest to explain. It's a collective feeling of grief and sadness, but also hope and strength. It comes from shared suffering. When bad things happen to your people, to your community, to your world, Han is what remains. It hurts, but it also makes you stronger. It reminds you to survive, to endure, to never give up. The room was silent, then spoke. "My species has a similar concept. We call it the echo. It is the pain we carry from our ancestors, the losses of our past. I always thought other species could not understand this." "We understand," said. "Every species has Han, every species has suffered. That's why we need to stick together." The night continued with food, music, and laughter. Aliens tried to sing Korean songs. Humans tried to learn alien dances. Ate a whole bowl of rice and declared it the best thing he had ever tasted. Learned to hum and made a sound that almost sounded like a melody. Near midnight, Academy director arrived. He was an ancient with faded colors and tired eyes, but tonight he looked younger, somehow lighter. "I have an announcement," he said. "The Galactic Council has made a decision. Earth will now send regular exchange students to this academy. Every year, at least 10 humans will join us. This program will expand to other schools across the galaxy." The room erupted in cheers. Aliens and humans hugged each other, something that would have been unthinkable months ago. "Furthermore," the director continued, "our 3 human students will receive the Unity Medal for their courage and compassion. This is the highest honor our academy can give." And stood together as medals were placed around their necks. The crowd cheered again, but barely heard them. He was looking at all the friends he had made in this strange place among the stars. Later, when the party had ended and the lights were dimmed, and sat together on a balcony overlooking the stars. Thousands of points of light stretched before them, each one a sun, each sun surrounded by worlds they might never visit. Said softly, "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "What makes humans so fearless? You face dangers that would destroy other species. You walk through poison. You fight enemies bigger than you. You smile at creatures who fear you. How do you do it?" Thought for a long time, then he answered, "We're not fearless, that's the secret. We feel fear all the time. Our planet taught us to be afraid because our planet was always trying to kill us. But somewhere along the way, we learned something important. Fear doesn't have to stop you. You can be afraid and still move forward. You can be terrified and still save your friend. The fear doesn't go away. You just learn to carry it with you." Was silent for a moment. Then she leaned her crystal body against his shoulder. "I think I understand now." "Understand what?" Why I feel safe with you. Not because you have no fear, but because you have fear and choose to protect me anyway. Put his arm around her, careful not to hold too tight. That's what friends do. That night wrote the final entry in her journal. The words would be read by billions of beings across the galaxy for generations to come. I came to this academy afraid of humans. I had heard stories about their deadly planet, their bone-supported bodies, their teeth designed for tearing. I expected monsters. Instead, I found family. The humans taught me that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to love something more than you fear losing it. They walked through fire for me. They carried me to safety. They held my hand and said, I trust you. These from a Class 3 nightmare planet have given me the greatest gift in the universe. They made me feel like I belong. And perhaps that is the strangest human custom of all. They take broken, scared, lonely creatures and they make them feel whole. I do not know what the future holds, but I know this: wherever the humans go, I will follow. Because home is not a planet. Home is the people who make you feel safe. And these have become my home.